following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34, and tonight I have a very special guest. Laika is in the building. How you doing tonight, Laika?
I'm doing good.
For sure. I want to thank you again for making time to come onto the show. I know it's not always easy to talk about these things, be introspective and reflective, but I definitely appreciate your time and willingness to share your story. So thank you again.
Okay.
For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone. After that, we'll do some icebreakers, a couple games, and then after the games, we'll jump into the Wheel of Fate, where we'll spin the wheel, and whatever number it lands on is the question we're going to roll with. And then after that, we'll finish out with some closeout questions. Sound good to you, Laika?
Yep.
All right. Well, my very first question for you is, how have you been? You've been doing great. You've been doing well. How have you been lately?
Yeah, I've been doing well.
Yeah. And well, what does doing well mean for you? Is that like?
For me, it's like a place that you're comfortable being at.
For sure. So you're saying you're feeling comfortable where you are right now in life?
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody's kind of looking for. How long have you been comfortable for a while now, or did you just start feeling like you found a rhythm?
Yeah, I started to feel like I found a rhythm of stuff.
I got you. My second question for you in the warm-up is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
That like I'm bluntly honest.
Really?
Yeah, like if I say something that I've been through, it would be what I actually been through.
I gotcha. There's no sugarcoating. There's like
no sugarcoating.
Okay, I got you. My follow-up to that is, what would you say is the biggest misconception about you? Like, people tend to be surprised when they find out this fact about you.
The biggest misconception, I don't know really, but
It's cool.
But for me, it's kind of like how I'm honest that sometimes it causes chaos.
It causes chaos?
Yeah.
I got you. My third question for you in the warm-up is, if I were to do something in your honor, a way to express the energy you possess, what could I do?
Probably speak from memory.
Speak from memory? Like,
Yeah.
like the stuff that, I guess, the memories that people share with you?
Yeah.
I got you. How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as someone who like goes for something and doesn't look back in the past.
I got you. Well, what is something that you've gone for? Like that you feel?
Something that I've gone for is like writing a short film script.
How's that? I that is something that I have tried to do myself, and I don't think it's that good, but I just did it because I wanted to experience what it was like to break down the script. But yeah, how was that process for you? And if you don't mind talking about it, I would love to know what the story is about.
The the process is kind of me just writing a treatment of the outline of the script and then transforming it into a script. And it's about like relationship and what happens if the guy kind of decided that the girl's not good enough for him.
Wow, that's kind of heavy.
Yeah, it's a heavy
story.
It's a heavy story.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but it can be told as a short film.
Have you already kind of gone through like the process of production, or is it just something that you're holding to yourself until the time is right?
It's already in pre-production, so it's like the producer has locations and oh my god,
you're fine.
And it still needed to be cast, so
I gotcha. How long is it supposed to be? Is it going to be like a 30-minute thing, an hour, or I know it's a short film, so
it's a short film, so it's like about 10 to 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. Do you have a title for it, so like we can kind of look out for it when it comes out?
It's called Dollhouse for a reason that it's like she feels like she's trapped in his cycle, but
damn, that does sound very heavy.
yeah, it does.
Have you been writing scripts for a while, or this is your first one?
I've been writing scripts since I was a kid, so in journals I would write scripts and write ideas on lines characters could say.
That's what's up. What would you say is the most difficult part for you when you try to write a script? I think like when I wrote the one that I wrote for mine, I always imagine like in a writer's room, people you could bounce off of, or like if there's going to be a conversation in the story, then I could be one voice and another person could be the other voice. But when you're writing by yourself, it's like you have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of each person as you're making the conversation and trying to make sure that it sounds a little realistic and not, over exaggerated or anything like that. So for you, what are some challenges when you're writing a script?
For me, the challenges of writing a script is trying to figure out the character's personality. Because like you don't want a character to have the same personality as another character, because it's gonna be the same character. Yeah. And when you develop your characters, do you like? I know some people they'll make a whole profile on that one character before they even start on the script, just so that can be like a guide as they're writing the script. They're like, oh, this is what that person would say in this situation. Do you do that, or do you just jump into the script and then you figure it out as you're writing it? I figure it out as I write it.
I gotcha. Well, and I want to go way back to your first script, or the one that you would consider was finished and kind of official. But what was that first story about?
The first script that I ever wrote, it was about family. So it's basically a family script and family dynamics.
And what is it about creating the scripts that you enjoy? Like what made you I guess, be inspired to do this? And you've been doing it for a while, so like, what is it that you get out of, writing these scripts?
Kind of. It's kind of to get stuff that's been in my head out of my head, to turn it into a fictional story. And most of the scripts that I write is based on my own personal experiences. So like I kind of turn those experiences into a fictional story and like explode it into how a character would deal in that situation.
I gotcha. Are there any like older projects that you had that maybe is on YouTube, or like a script that you?
No, Dollhouse would be the first one.
That's what's up. I mean, it must be pretty exciting to finally get that first one out there. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
For sure. Now, do you ever draw inspiration from like your dreams? Because the first one I wrote was and a lot of I have dreams that are sometimes movies, like I go to sleep and I wake up just thinking to myself like, damn, that was a pretty good story, or that was pretty epic. And then so in my mind, anytime I have a really good dream, I write down kind of like the plot, and then from there I'm like, okay, maybe one day I'll get a chance to write a whole script on it. But yeah, for you, are there any dreams that inspire you to write scripts, or is it just from real life experiences?
It depends on the script. Like sometimes I pull from dreams, sometimes it's real life experiences.
Just sometimes
it's a bit of both.
Yeah, I got you. Like a mix of both things to fill it out. And sometimes that's what we need, right? And then my last question for you in the warm-up is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
Probably an 8. Like, yeah, I'm still trying to get to know me as a writer and me as a person.
I gotcha. What would you say is your favorite thing about your personality?
My favorite thing about my personality is like the fact that like I'm joyful.
Joyful, for sure. And then you had mentioned earlier about being blunt or being like super honest. How do people generally take that? Are they kind of scared by it, or do they kind of just accept it and feel good about it? Because I know in my experience, the people who have kind of been blunt and been super honest, it hasn't always gone well for a lot of other folks. But yeah, so for you, what kind of experience have you had being completely honest?
It depends on the situation that I'm in.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the icebreakers at this point. And my first icebreaker for you is a true or false. I'm gonna give you some statements, and then you can let me know what you think about them, if they're true or if they're false. And I'm also gonna ask you why. So this first one is, people are ultimately good. True or false?
I think false, because sometimes people can be bad.
I gotcha. But even if they're like, they have some bad parts, like, do you think, because I think when people are being bad, they actually think that they're doing the right thing, even though to everybody else it's like, oh man, they're doing something wrong. But because they believe that what they're doing is, you know, a good thing, or it's the right thing to do, then, you know, they just come out that way. But for you, what people are bad, is there any way for redemption, or, you know, for them to kind of prove that they can if people are bad, can people change?
Yes, people can change.
I gotcha.
And it depends on what they do to change and what they know that they can change.
What they know that they can change. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, it's basically when someone thinks that they can't change who they are because of the bad things that they did. And oh my gosh, how do I put this?
It's fine. Take your time. Take your time.
So like when a person kind of does something that they know is bad, but they can change. If they can change, like, it would be out of the goodness of their heart, not because they're trying to repair a broken reputation.
I gotcha. It's like they have to, it can't be outside factors that motivate them. It has to come from the inside. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I got you. My second statement for you is happiness is the most important thing. True or false?
True.
True. Well, why true?
Because there are things that can make a person happy, and there are things that that can put them in a downward spiral. But the things that makes people happy is like something that they're doing that they enjoy.
For sure. Well, what are some things that make you happy?
What makes me happy is like writing and being around people that I love.
For sure. So are you currently just a writer, or do you have like to balance either being a student or being, you know, having a day job, or is
I have a day job.
Got you. Yeah. So how does it feel to like have to balance those two things, like, you know, working on your dream and then having to, you know, I guess live a normal life? Is that challenging, or is it something you've gotten used to? What's it like for you?
It's something that I've gotten used to since I don't write every single day. I only write when I'm inspired or I have nothing else to do, and so I write.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, obviously this would be the dream, and I still have a day job, and I've been trying to balance both, which for the most part I'm able to, but I know there are times where I slow down with the dream just because there's so much energy that gets taken up from my day job, and it makes me frustrated. It makes me feel like, man, I wish I could be putting more time and effort into the dream, but I have to obviously live in reality and do what I need to do to make sure that I'm doing everything right for my job. And so my leading on to my third statement for you is, there is no try, just do. True or false? Like when people say they're trying, they need to stop saying that, because they're already doing it. Is that true or false?
True, because if you're trying to do something, you're actually doing it already.
Yeah, I've recently just gotten to the point with this podcast to feel comfortable saying I'm doing it, because for the longest time, at least for the first year, I was very oh, I'm just trying, it's not going anywhere, it's not becoming big, so I'm just trying it out. But I've recently, through a lot of people share your perspective too, and tell me oh man, you gotta own it, you gotta say this is what you do, and then manifesting, putting that energy into the world, it becomes that, right? But when's the last time that you feel like you tried something but you weren't really doing it? Has there been a chance?
Probably 2 days ago, when I tried to write 1,500 words in a day, and I'm I can't do this.
Yeah, right. Sometimes it gets really hard.
It gets really hard, and sometimes there's no time.
Yeah, that's another big factor, is time. So were you able to get to 1,500, or did you have to stop?
No.
Yeah.
I stopped. I'm I can't do this.
But at the end result, you're gonna get to 1,500. So in a sense that you're still doing it. Maybe it wasn't in that time frame, but once it's done, then you can finally say that you did it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I gotcha. We're going to move on to our second icebreaker, and this is the last one before we jump into the Wheel of Fate. But this one is going to be a word association. So as a writer, I think you might have done this exercise before, but I'm going to just throw out a word for you, throw out one word, and you can give me a one sentence or one word answer that comes to mind first.
Okay.
And then you'll have 34 seconds to do as many as you can. Right now, the record is 10, but there's no pressure. This is just for fun. So we'll see what comes up for you. And I will count down in 3, 2, 1. Art.
Poetry.
Culture.
Scottish culture.
Success.
Time.
Future.
Motivation.
Music.
Pop.
We reached the end. I know you didn't hear the sound effect, but for me, there's like this big gong that goes off in my head. But for sure, you got to 5, which is just fine. Don't worry. Don't feel bad about it. I want to ask you about success because you said time. Like that was the first thing that popped in your head. Well, why time for success? How did that correlation happen?
Because success takes time.
Yeah, no, that's true. Unless you're like super lucky. I guess for some folks, if they get lucky, they can make it happen. But I hear you. It does take time to succeed. So like for people who say, I'm successful. How much time is a good amount of time? Like maybe I'm 50 years old and I'm finally I finally succeed. I don't know if that's gonna make me feel successful because it's like, oh man, it took me 50 years to get to this point. So for you, what's a good time frame for success? Like if you had a goal and then you were gonna say in this amount of time, I should be able to make it. Like, well, how long is that time for you?
For me, it depends on how I'll get there, but like if I think I successfully done something, that's success.
I got you. So it's just defined by you and nothing else.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right. As you can see at the bottom of the screen is the Wheel of Fate. I know it looks small on your end, but once it's a final product, people will be able to see it. So I'm gonna give it a spin, and we're gonna start rolling with the questions. Here we go. And just as a reminder, if there's any question that's too hard to talk about, feel free to pass, and we could always just go with the next question. But
Okay.
your first number, I believe, is number 1. Oh no, it's actually number 34. It was hard for me to see in that little screen, but awesome, you made it. 34 questions of 34th question right here. So this first question for you is where do you feel like you belong?
I probably belong in somewhere where I'm accepted and oh my gosh, the feeling that I feel accepted by people around me.
Is there a place like that for you now, or is that still a place that you're searching for?
It depends, because sometimes I don't feel like I'm there, but other times I know that it's there.
I gotcha. What do you think is like the challenge about feeling accepted? Because I know some folks where they don't feel accepted at all, and it's really hard for them to find that place or that group or the team to be a part of something. What do you think are some challenges for folks to feel accepted?
The challenges is probably the opinions of others, because like you don't know how other people are gonna perceive you as a person, and yeah.
Well, why do we think we care so much about what other people think of us?
I think it's because when other people think of us, it's kind of engraved in our brain that that somehow they're right and that we don't fit in anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I've been trying to figure out. Just because I work with high school kids during the day. That's my day job, and they're pretty cool. They're respectful. They're nice until they feel like they need to prove something to their friends. And then so either they want to prove that they're cool, or they want to prove that they we don't follow the rules, or I'm my own person. I'm not gonna follow directions and stuff. So I mean, what do you think is a good way to kind of let me start off first. Do you feel like you care about what people think of you, or are you able to just kind of block it out at this point?
At this point, I'm able to block it out, but there's other times that it gets to me.
I got you. So for the times when you're able to block it out, how do you do it? So I could kind of like tell the kids, this is a strategy you can use, or maybe see it another way.
Probably a strategy is not to overthink it, because sometimes people overthink what other people are thinking of them, and it slows them down on what they're actually doing.
Yeah, that's the story of my life right there. I'm always overthinking. And I've been trying to work on it, to be honest. And would you agree that confidence is the key to kind of get around that? Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's been something I've been, I guess, trying to work on, and slowly, like, how is confidence gained for you? Like, how can people feel more confident in what they're doing and who they are?
People can be confident with what they're doing and who they are by thinking to themselves, like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I have to do in order to succeed.
I got you. So just like, reaffirming or like continuing to believe in what they're doing, probably the best way to do it. I mean, for me, it's always like, what hurts my confidence is when I start comparing myself to other folks, and when I'm always forced to see the numbers for the show. So like anytime I see the number go down as far as like listeners or views, I'm just like, damn, it really does hurt my confidence. So I've been working on trying to stay believing and stay believing in what I'm doing, and knowing like what the goal is, which isn't views and numbers. And I guess that continues to give me the confidence to push through. Gonna give the wheel another spin. Here we go. Number 4. All right, here we go. So for this one, it's, when was the last time you forgave yourself?
The last time I forgave myself would probably be a week ago, when I thought to myself, I shouldn't be telling people my personal experiences online, but it's how people communicate these days. It's like posting things online that they've been through, and like hoping that other people don't go through it as well.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, that is I guess it's a challenge, right? Like, the internet or like online gives us the ability to express ourselves in a way where everybody can kind of see or be a part of it, but it's also hard to just put yourself out there to be so vulnerable. I think that's why a lot of folks, at least in real life, are so closed off, but then when they get onto the internet, there's a lot of other ways to kind of let it all out.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Is there anything, and this is a hard question, but is there anything that you haven't forgiven yourself for? Yeah, like there's still something that you haven't been able to let go, or that you struggle with?
I struggle with forgiving myself for my honesty, because like sometimes people don't like it if you're very honest, and they find a way to say that you're not being honest.
So like when you're honest, they say, "Oh no, you mean something else." Like they still won't believe your honesty. Is that that happens? I got you. Yeah, that is strange. Earlier before we got on camera, you had kind of talked about how you were when I asked you where you were from, you said the Philippines and then the UK and then Oregon. Is that correct?
Yep.
How long did you live in the UK?
I lived in the UK for 7 years.
7 years.
So when I was 7 until like 12, 13-ish.
I gotcha. What was that experience like, being Filipino in the UK? Because I know I was raised in America. I was born in the Philippines, moved here when I was 4, so pretty much American. But yeah, so for Filipinos in the UK, what was that like? Was it a good experience? Was it kind of hard? How was it out there?
It was kind of hard because people in the UK are very honest, and that's how I became bluntly honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there like a culture shock when you first moved there? Was there anything that kind of like, oh wow, this is way different from the Philippines? Like anything in the UK that happened?
What's different about the UK is the fact that like no one talks about race or religion. It's about class and social hierarchy.
That is interesting.
It's like really classes in the UK.
I gotcha. Well, so how many classes are in that hierarchy? Like, is it just rich, middle, poor, or is there like more in between those classes?
Yeah, it's more like rich, middle, poor.
And that's just where it's at. That's how everybody kind of treats each other in that way.
Yeah.
For sure.
A lot of people would say that it's no longer like that, but I still think there's still a lot of people that think that way, especially with Gen Zers.
I got you. Especially with Gen Zers. I thought.
Because it's how people are brought up there. Like, you stay in your class while others can mingle with other classes. Like middle class and the poor people, they're kind of a majority, so they're often seen together.
And then the rich is just like all in their own world, like they don't even. Damn. All right. I mean, I guess that's it's similar to how our culture is here, but we don't really talk about classes like that. It is way more about race out here, and other things as well. But that's interesting. Does that leave any kind of effect on you as far as how you view the world? Like when you came to America and Oregon, was it something that you kind of noticed or picked up on? Like were things a lot different when you came out here to the States?
It was a lot different when I came to the States because I feel like when I came to the States, everything was more open, and like everyone was like have their freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
and they can say anything they want, but there's still like people who are like closed off and who can't say what they want to say.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting, and I don't know if this is a universal thing, like in every country and just in the entire world. Because I know in America we do value freedom of speech a lot, and yet there's a lot of people here that still feel like they can't say what's on their mind, or they can't express themselves, and it gets built up. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, as far as being worried about what other people think of us. But I mean, I struggle with it too. I don't think I can say everything that's on my mind at all times. It has to it depends on the time and place and the people I'm around, to be honest. But I want to get to that point. I want to get to the point where I feel so confident in who I am as a person that I can fully take advantage of our freedom of speech rights without feeling like. What's that?
I said okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Let me give the wheel another spin. We have about 20 minutes left in the interview, so again, just want to thank you for your time. Got down to number 1, and this question is, what makes you unique?
What makes me unique is that I'm not like everybody else. I have my own how do I put this? I have my own world that I revolve around in, but like I also find it unique about myself, that the fact that I'm brave.
I gotcha. When you say that you live in your own world, what does your world look like?
Basically my world looks like honesty and full of hope.
So when you are honest with other people, do you feel like you get that back? Like, are people honest with you, or are they still, not so much?
Not so much.
I gotcha. Then, like, what makes it hard for people to be honest? Do you think? And for you, why it makes it so easy? So,
I think what makes it hard on people to be honest is the fact that they feel like they're not gonna be heard correctly. And what makes it easy for me to be honest is the fact that, like, I know I'm not gonna be taken seriously or taken truthfully, but it depends on the person I'm talking to, or the words that I write.
I gotcha. And then you said, it's honesty and hope. What makes you hopeful?
What makes me hopeful is the fact that I have a great sense of self-respect and self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. And that gives you like hope for the future?
Yes.
I gotcha. I think we have time for one more spin, and here we go. Number 19. What is your controversial opinion? Like something that when you do speak the truth, people are kind of like, ready to debate or ready to, challenge that opinion. But what is your controversial opinion?
My controversial opinion would be the fact if I think that there's a world out there that has a different opinion than me, and I know they're not gonna agree on what I say, but that's their that's their way of like saying maybe you're not right, but for me, I know the fact that what I said is what I said. So, and yeah.
So it would be your controversial opinion is just saying that no matter what you say, like what's right to me is still right.
Yeah.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we made it to the final part of the interview, which is, I call it the final stretch, some closeout questions. This next one is actually an exercise called the 34th mantra. Are you familiar with mantras at all?
No.
So a mantra is something that people repeat to themselves when they either need, a confidence boost, or if they're feeling down, it can help them, even out and just be like, okay, I'm ready to move forward. So this one basically is probably the hardest part of the interview, where I'm going to change the screen into, it's going to be a reflection. You are going to be talking to yourself. And there are 3 phrases I'd like you to fill in the blanks, which is I am blank, I can blank, and I will blank. So I am, I can, I will. And you are just going to be basically leaving a message for yourself in the future. If you ever need to rewatch it, it'll be a reminder. And I'm going to switch it over. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. It's I am, I can, I will. How would you fill that in for yourself?
I am happy. I can do so much things that I put my mind to, and I will succeed.
For sure. I got you. And now that's just a little reminder for yourself if you ever need it going forward. And then this next part is we're going to show some love to the folks in our lives. You don't need to put any names out there if you don't want to, but I'm going to ask you to give a shout out to some folks. This first one is who has been the greatest mentor in your life? Someone that kind of has helped you out to get you to where you are today.
Probably an old friend of mine.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to say their name, but if they're watching this and they, is there any way you can give them a hint that that's who you're talking about? Like, my friend from the UK or my friend from the Philippines.
Probably I met this person when I was 8, so
I gotcha.
A long time ago, so he would know that it's
right.
him.
All right, yeah. So there you go. That's a good hint. So the person watching this could be like, oh, she's talking about me. I gotcha. Now we're gonna move on to the final questions. which is this first one is actually going to be from my previous guest. So shout out to Jake Domansky. His question for you is, if you had as much money as Jeff Bezos, what would you do with that money?
As much money as Jeff Bezos. First, I would probably buy a house.
In Oregon, or where are you moving to? Is there like a dream place that you would want to get to?
Oh, a dream place would probably be California.
Okay, for sure. All right. First thing, a house. What's your next purchase?
Probably a car and a driver.
And a driver. That's a new one out there. But that is very convenient. Like, instead of having to Uber everywhere, you just have a driver.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get somebody that you know, or maybe just like, you know, just somebody who drives? Because in my mind, if I was gonna get a driver, I'd probably hire a friend, you know, or a relative to just be like, here's some money to just drive me around.
Yeah, probably a relative or someone who can just drive.
I gotcha. And then give me one more thing. What's one more thing that you would buy?
I'll probably buy something that I can look at, or something that will remind me, like, hey, this is your life now.
No, I got you. It ain't your old life no more. It's your new life with Bezos money. But no, I feel it. And then my second to last question is, what would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 Questions?
I would ask the next guest, when was the last time you've been honest with yourself?
I got you. When's the last time you've been honest with yourself? I'm just writing down the questions, so for the next person. So, do you think people are not on it? Like, if you're going to give me a percentage, like if 50-50 or 75-25, are people like honest with themselves, or are they not most of the time? Like, from your perspective and what you've seen.
From my perspectives, most of the time they're not completely honest with themselves. Like, sometimes when someone say that they're gonna do something and they never do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty. I've been guilty of that, like flaking. You know, when people are like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there," and then they're like, "Oh, actually, something came up," and it's like, "Yo, you could have just told me you were gonna come in the first place, but you had to lie to me." But I got you. And then my last question for you, the question that ties everything together. You know, 100 years from now, your descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
There's stuff that I've been through when I was a kid. You probably heard stories about it. But just to let you know, word of mouth can sometimes be false, and you better hear it from me instead of other people telling you.
I gotcha. And you know, I don't want to press on it. I don't, want you to feel pressure to open up about it here. But yeah, hopefully if you can write something for them so they can get it from you in some way, so they'll know the story directly from you instead of just through other folks. But I got you. Any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here?
No.
For sure. I just want to thank you again, Laika, for coming through. I know it's not, like I said, it's not always easy for folks to come up and open up more about themselves, especially with a complete stranger. So thank you so much. I want to thank all the folks out there who are tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, I want to thank you for your time as well. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love, and we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace. And then it fades out from there.